Now, MPs will still have a vote on the Queen's speech as a whole. What happens if the government loses that one?
Well, it's something that is very uncertain at the moment. Historically, when the government lost on a Queen's speech, it was seen as a proxy vote of confidence against the government. And when it last happened in 1924, the government resigned and the opposition formed an alternative administration. However, that was before the Fixed Term Parliaments Act, which now sort of sets out a vote of confidence that needs to happen to go into this period where you might form an alternative government and then into general election. And so we're not entirely sure what would happen, but it's very clear that a loss on the Queen's speech would indicate that MPs don't have confidence in the government and the government's agenda. It's then really up to the politics to decide what happens next. It's possible the opposition could bring a formal Fixed Terms Parliament Act vote of no confidence and attempt to form a new administration or go into an election, or the government could try a 2/3 majority vote to go straight into election, saying, we want to proceed and we want to govern, but Parliament is not letting us, and so we need to break the deadlock. So, normally it would be a confidence matter, but in these fractious political times and following the Fixed Term Parliaments Act, it still remains quite unclear what would happen.
And there will be opposition parties and groupings of opposition parties trying to put forward their own amendment to the Queen's speech, for example, to ensure that there is another Brexit referendum. If an amendment like that were passed, would that change things?
Well, amendments aren't binding in the Queen's speech, so these amendments don't force the government's hand, but they are normally politically embarrassing. The government would normally try and avoid them. But there are big, important political consequences and practical consequences. It's hard to make progress in any case in this Parliament. No majority. This Queen's speech, it's a good shop window for an election, but not necessarily going to be a practical benefit. And also, it is very difficult to introduce a budget if you don't pass a Queen's speech under the current parliamentary rules. So that does raise problems for the government, which wants to have a budget on the 6th of November.
Chair Marshall, thank you.